No, the engine's not on fire. That's just a little bit of steam because it's pretty cold out. It's cold and wet and miserable and icy and yeah. Anyway, for those I missed on the video, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It is January 6th, and I'm here to talk about this thing right here. I get this question a lot. Why is my reverse light flashing? Well, let's take a look at why my reverse light flashes. Let's speak English first, shall we? This is a 2002 Grizzly 660. The problem that I'm going to be talking about here was fixed in 2003. With the 2002 Grizzly, and specifically only the 2002 Grizzly, you're going to find on the left-hand handlebar no reverse override. You'll see the start button, you'll see the choke, but you won't see the little green button next to the start button for the reverse override. So, what Yamaha had done to rectify the problem, when you throw this bike in reverse, it will cut the ignition after about a quarter throttle, which if you are stuck in a mud hole or over a log or whatever where you actually need some wheel spin, you're not going to get it unless you do this modification. This is a very simple modification you can get done, again, specifically only with the 2002 Grizzly 660s. So, what you're going to find on your ignition box underneath your seat, here's your ignition box. This is a stock box right here, okay? You'll find on pin number whatever, it's going to be this pin right here. It's actually a, oh, I think that's the right one. Let me double check. Yes, it is. This pin here with the green wire white stripe on top of the white wire black stripe is a ignition cutout for when you put the bike in reverse. Yamaha, what they have done to rectify that problem in 2003, had put a green button on here, and you'll find that all the way up to whenever they started coming out with the 2000, I think it's 2008, the 700s. What it does, what that button does on that control, whenever you push that in, all that does is just cut out the ignition cut off. And how it does that is just puts a simple ground to the frame. That is essentially what this modification for the 2002 Grizzly does. What you're going to do is, in your wiring harness on the side, the left-hand side of your engine, that comes up into your plug bank right here, you're going to see what I've done. Here's your wire. So I stripped that out of the wiring harness. So it's the the green wire white stripe. And what I've done is I've tied that into a ground to the frame, so that when I put this ATV in reverse, I can get full power, full RPM range, up to the limited range and the RPM on the high end on your stock ignition box. So, that is pretty much the simplest thing you can do to this Grizzly 660 and all Grizzly 660s. I'm not quite sure if the 400s, like the Kodiak 400s, if they're set up the same way. I've never had a problem with mine. When I had it, I had a 2001 Kodiak 400. If I can find a picture, I'll put one up here or something like that so you could take a look at it. That's before I got into the GoPro stuff, the YouTube stuff. But you'll see, that is the simplest modification you can do, and probably the first one you can do on your Grizzly 660. Now, these bikes are getting pretty old. It is 2002. That's why I have a little bit of trouble here and there with my bike, because it is getting old and it's got a, you know, couple thousand kilometers on it. And by a couple thousand, I mean over, what is it, 14,000 kilometers on it now. So overall, it's been a great bike. But anyway, that's kind of the point. Beside the point is I wanted to talk about why either people in the comment section are questioning why are my reverse lights flashing, as opposed to just, you know, on a normal run, you won't normally see that happening. Sometimes it goes off, sometimes it doesn't. You see, I just started the bike, let it warmed up and revved it up a little bit, and that reverse light came right on. So anyway, that is the entire reason why that light comes on, and I keep getting questions about it. It's just because all it is just to make a reverse override so I get full power in reverse. If not, I could probably pull that off. In fact, let me do that. I'll pull that off and I'll fire the bike up and I'll show you the... oh no, never mind. I can't do that because, yeah, I don't have my jack working right. I was going to jack the back end of the bike up. But anyway, regardless, that's the point. If anybody has one of those reverse lights on your left handlebar, or excuse me, your reverse override button on your left handlebar, you know it. If you don't press it, the ignition cuts out. If you press it, it cuts out. So, again, that's the whole reason why. And I do have some more light in the shop here now. Some of my repair videos, especially my repair videos and how-to videos, I've gotten a lot of angry comments saying, yeah, I can't see. Well, my apologies. I didn't, you know, I don't have professional camera equipment lighting here, but anyway, I did pick up one of these. That is a 400 watt metal halide. They're called wobble lights. And that has been absolutely fantastic. That thing lights up the backyard and the little field that we got like you wouldn't believe at night. And it does throw some heat up the top there too. I mean, that's the same light bulb. It's huge. That's the same light bulb as what they use in those light towers that you see on the sides of the road, lighting road work up at night. So what's going on for the new year? Well, the new year is going to bring repairs before I can get too far out in the trail. There is the annual Fish and Chip Rally in Chester. Chester? Where is it? Fish and Chip Rally. I'll have to post that up here because I can't quite remember where it's at. Not Chester. I can't think of the name. Lake Charlotte. Wow. Couldn't remember. I've been going to that rally for many years and I just for some reason slipped my mind. Lake Charlotte. And the ATV Association down that way is going to be holding their annual Fish and Chip Rally here coming up in a couple of weeks, I believe, in the end of January. So I got to get some studs in the tires because it is icy as hell right now. And I got something else going on down here that I'm afraid I'm going to have to replace. I don't know if you can see it. No, you can't. That's the part of the frame right there. Well, that bearing is where the steering shaft goes through, and then it goes into the tie rods for where your pitman arm goes in the bottom side of that. I get a feeling that bearing is shot. And I've done the repair once before. I wasn't on camera, but this time I think I'm going to have to do it again. Yeah, this poor little bike takes a beating in these rocks here in Nova Scotia. And I might look at upgrading my tie rod ends because, as you know, I've been having some trouble lately. And I'd much rather throw a little bit of extra money into some heavier tie rod ends and replace that bearing correctly. Rather than just there. You can see it right in there. That bearing right there. So I'm going to have to do some repairs, and you'll see that video coming up here soon. I'd much rather throw a little bit of extra money, get some upgraded tie rod ends, some 14 mil tie rod ends, or 12 mil, because right now it comes with a standard stock 10 mil tie rod ends, and then go from there. But I'd much rather put some extra money into doing something like that than replace the bearing and have my tie rod ends go about a year later. So anyway. Alright guys, apologies for the lack of ride videos, but this situation that we're in, and yeah, all that kind of stuff takes money. And time, mostly time. Anyway, thanks for joining me all last year in 2018, and let's look forward to a positive year in 2019 here. And we'll get out in the trails and see you guys out there too. Thanks very much guys, Rye Guy out.